Hey everyone, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for a review of the third studio album by the English alternative band The 1975. A brief inquiry into online relationships is the title of this one, and it's to be followed in the spring of 2019 with their fourth album, Notes on a Conditional Form. Matthew Healy, the lead singer, primary songwriter, and also one of the guitarists for the 1975, has certainly had an interesting past year. He's kicked his heroin addiction, which I am very proud of him for, but he also made a lot of music in the turmoil that I really connected to because you could feel the pain, the agony, and everything else. So I wondered what a sober, hyper-focused Matty Healy would sound like, and that's introduced to us here on their new album. It's a record that definitely feels disjointed in some ways, but it really does make strides for the band. It definitely feels like a more mature record in many ways, although part of me definitely yearns for the sound of their 2016 release, I Like It When You Sleep, for You Were So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It. That was my personal album of the year for that year. Despite this new album being a bit different in many senses, they're trying new things, I think that it definitely still feels like a 1975 release. The advice that I can give to you going in is don't dismiss it right away, because upon my first listen, I found it very cumbersome, something that almost was a burden to get through, but it's one of those records where you truly need to focus in. Read along with the lyrics, put on a music visualizer, just zone out, put on your headphones, lay back on your bed, and throw this thing on. Normally, my rule is to only listen to 2 songs before an album drops, but this time I broke my own golden rule and heard a third single. I heard not only Love It If We Made It and Give Yourself a Try, but I also played TooTimeTooTimeTooTime just because I had heard so much buzz about it, both good and bad. I'm sure that fans' expectations were all over the place, and this album does feel a bit scatterbrained, like it left some of its stuff all over the place and it's trying to pick up the pieces and put it together, but at the heart of it all, I have to say that I like the concept. The overall tone of this record is decidedly dark in some ways, like it's lingering in the shadows, but there's also a hopeful undertone to many of the tracks here. I feel like there's a silver lining that Healy and company are cutting out and saying, these are the things that we're dealing with, these are the societal issues that we have on our plate right now, so instead of just screaming at each other, why don't we educate each other, or else try to understand and maybe come at it from a different angle. The songwriting is a huge plus on this record. It's something that draws you in because the tracks are written from a 1975 style perspective, but this time Healy does feel even more honed in, like he's connected to that spark that really helped make and shape this record, what it was going to become. And I said it felt a bit scatterbrained, and I stand by that because the ideas aren't always fully present, or developed at least, but many of the cuts here, they do flow incredibly well into each other, or else they just take this buzz and they keep it going, whether it be a guitar chord on something like I Couldn't Be More in Love and a key change that really helps move the song forward, or something like Love It If We Made It, where it takes a typical 1975 song and then just excels it to the next level because the lyrics are about war, about the US presidency, about all of these other social issues, and they take it and don't make it feel preachy, but rather just important and urgent, like it should feel. The amount of instrumental cuts has definitely been reduced from their past releases. The self-titled album had way too many moments that relied a little bit too heavily on being ambient and droning on, adding in synth layers just for the sake of doing it, I felt like, and even though I've always really liked the band, that's felt like a bloated thing that I've just had to deal with in the past. I Like It When You Sleep in particular was really loaded up with those instrumental cuts, and here on a brief inquiry, it feels like they've kind of just melded it down and are using instrumental interludes within other tracks. How to Draw was originally included on I Like It When You Sleep as an overseas bonus track, and I did like that, and I really like how they gave it a twist here. They reproduced it, shaped it, and it leads up into the Petrichor, I hope I'm saying that right, the second part of the song, which is instrumental, and honestly, those buzzing synthesizers and just the overall tone, it gets stuck inside your head, and that's something that really makes this album win overall. The album is at its best when it's discussing issues of love, technology, and addiction, and it's admitting that it doesn't always have all the answers. Give Yourself a Try was certainly an interesting choice for the lead single. It features buzzing guitars that really get repetitive. It just pretty much has the same loop the entire time. The bass is kind of flat in the background, and the drums don't do a ton for me. The vocals feel like they're staggering a bit, like Healy is trying to get through too many ideas too fast, but I still do like the song overall. Sincerity is Scary has a fantastic message that I wholeheartedly agree with. Healy discusses how we put up these barriers, perhaps online, to protect ourselves as a coping mechanism. Sincerity is scary, and this song uses trumpets and a mix of kind of a stuttering, almost drunken drum beat that honestly kind of catches my attention, and also a few faint guitars to really make things work. I started off on the fence with some of the more throwback style ballads such as Mine and also Be My Mistake. The latter in particular features this acoustic guitar and a message that seems to mainly be about guilt or else feeling some sort of remorse for the way that things were done in a past relationship. And while I do enjoy the song, it's one of those cuts that you hear and you just are unsure of if it has a staying power to it. Does it differentiate itself from other songs that do similar things? And honestly, I don't know if the answer is yes. Mine, on the other hand, I found to be much better with repeated listens. You let this thing kind of settle in on your palate and you hear the jazzy allure that it has. And it almost settles in perfectly for the Christmas and holiday season that we're about to enter. It's something that definitely goes down smooth, and I like the fact that Healy is very open about his fear of commitment on this one. He talks about the fact that he loves his girlfriend, but he's also not sure if he's ready to just go and take the next step because he's content knowing that things are great the way they are now. Surprisingly enough, I Like America and America Likes Me, the auto-tuned ode to SoundCloud rap from the 1975, is actually kind of winning me over. I think it's pleasant enough, it's really not that bad, and even though the lyrics are very hard to interpret and understand, it kind of has an appeal to it. I mean, it definitely has the rattling hi-hats that you're hearing everywhere else. I don't think it's a great tune by any means, but I really don't hate it like I thought I might. At the core, we have a song that I would argue that the album couldn't do without. If it didn't have this, then it might start to crumble, and that song is The Man Who Married a Robot / Love Theme. This is a song that has the British version, the male version of Siri narrating this man's life and how he fell in love with the internet. It's something that's honestly kind of tragic, and it's made me emotional as I've listened to it more. I love the instrumental, the background on this song. It is so beautiful and engaging. It's just so crisp. You can hear it in the background, the synths, the piano that are going so lightly, just enough to basically add some sort of composition to what Siri is saying. And as it goes on, you hear it more and more, and it moves into the final part, which is the love theme. And I just think that this song is brilliant. Like I said, it's kind of the cornerstone of the album in a way, and it's something that definitely helps you understand what A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships is all about. Surrounded by Heads and Bodies kind of has me conflicted. I really do like the chord progression there. The guitars are nice, but it also gets old kind of fast. The intro track, the 1975, in fact their third version of it, using the exact same lyrics, is reworked here and has an army of Matt Healys, as he described, on vocals, and it definitely sounds very processed, very robotic, but still, it's not bad. In fact, I kind of find myself jamming to it a little bit, even though it is so short. Love It If We Made It is one of the best songs of the year, and closing out the album, we have one that absolutely gives it competition, because it's one of the best songs that the 1975 have ever made. I Always Want to Die Sometimes. Matthew Healy tweeted out that lyric a while back. In fact, he had a screenshot of his computer, and I saw that, and I was really interested as to what this could be. And my God, did it turn into this beautiful, definitely very British, very English-sounding song that reminds you of the 90s, but with a 1975 twist. It's hopeful, and it's something where it talks about things like concrete shoes and wanting to kill yourself but not doing it, holding back and wanting to live life. I really appreciate the illusions and the way that things are described in this track, and the fact that the guitars really light up and just get you soaring into the mood of the song. Now for the part of the review where you guys start to get mad at me because I talk about the worst song that the 1975 have made to date. That would be Two Time, Two Time, Two Time. My God, I don't ever want to listen to this one again, because what the hell were they thinking? This does not belong on this album. It's an auto-tuned bullshit mess. Healy sounds terrible. No Rome collaboration? No thank you. I'm talking about Narcissist as well. Both awful songs, although this one is even worse. I think that this song should not exist. It does not fit on this record. And the band, it's not just that they're going in a different direction, it's just that they don't sound like anything. They're just floating on this generic, safe beat. And the lyrics are so basic. It's like standing in a Walmart, looking around and seeing all of the things that you could possibly have. And they're like, let's just put them all in the cart and make this piece of shit. Harsh? Absolutely. But deserved? I think so. Although I do want to mention one other song that I didn't talk about yet, and that was Inside Your Mind. The guitar on that is just so, like, sexy. It's something that draws you in with that warm vibe, and you can hear it, you can almost touch it, it's tangible, it's right there for you. And then Healy just sounds perfect. He's talking about basically wanting to tear out this person's head just to see what's going on. Can I understand you? Can I get to know you better? Let's take away this barrier that's here. A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships is a confusing LP. It's also a solid and rewarding one at times, but it is a little bit all over the place, and that can be a frustrating thing at times. There's not as many standout cuts on this one compared to I Like It When You Sleep or even the 1975, but still, the ones that are there, the highs of this album, are so damn high. And the rest of the album, for the most part, it's at least damn consistent, and that's something worthy of kudos. This is one of those albums that doesn't have the defining answer to it. I don't think we're supposed to understand everything that's going on here. It's going to confuse some fans, it's going to please the hell out of others, many critics do, I'm sure, and it's an album that I do enjoy, but I'm also curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments section down below. For me personally, I'm rating this a strong 3.5 out of 5. It's not as great as their past works, but there are still very solid moments here, and some that are probably among their best songs that they've created to date. If you enjoyed this review though, please drop a like on it, let me know what you think down below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're new in town. It would be amazing if you'd be able to help out the channel by either donating on Patreon on a monthly basis by clicking the annotation here, or by picking up some merch in the merch shelf that is floating directly below this video. Other than that, if you would like to see other 1975 themed videos or a recent review, then tap those annotations directly below me. All of my social media accounts can be found in the description down below, and I'll see you soon for more right here on ARTV.